Mike, welcome to LinkedIn Live. It's been wait, you're
Actually, it's
back.
welcome to Washington is what it is because I've been gone.
How, I don't think I've ever known you to take a vacation. How was that?
It's because I have not. Well, for the last 3 years, it was really good. It was we went to Pismo Beach, California. In fact, I'm
Uh-huh.
wearing my
Uh-huh.
Poncho's Surf Shop hoodie that I got down there. Yeah, we stayed about a half a block from the beach during the weekend of the annual car show, which we did not know we were going to run into, and which is a really big deal. So there were lowriders and muscle cars and antiques basically in every parking space in Pismo Beach. After the weekend, it got a lot calmer, and we just hung out in San Luis Obispo County and went up Highway 1, almost up to Big Sur, which at one time, all that was my backyard. So showing the girls around,
That's really
it was really
cool.
cool. Yeah, it was fun.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
And then you came back in time for your own medical procedures
Yeah.
without creating a HIPAA violation. I did refer to you as a character from The Lion King,
Ah, yes.
um, and that wasn't Simba. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I had some skin cancer removed, and they had to cut a pretty good canyon into my cheek. So I'm gonna have a scar, and what we should tell people is that I got in a knife fight with the Conti ransomware gang. That'll buttress our branding, I think.
This is why we don't let you do branding.
Yeah. And by the way, thanks again to Anna for being the guest blaster while I was gone. She did a great job. I was reading the blast every day and felt like I was informed.
Good, 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 good. Hey, also while you were gone, and I should have thought about the fact that you were in California and you could have gone to RSA for us, but the RSA conference was going on, and there are many things to talk about that came out of that conference.
Yes.
Um, all sorts of things, mainly from the DHS folks there. One of the things I saw was elevated threats are the new normal. I mean, duh. But you know, now we know CISA has a job to do, and it's true that threats are elevated. But the last time we talked about that, we talked about the alert fatigue. Like, if that's the new normal, is that just where the heartbeat is? And that's starting to be associated with all these announcements. Is it doing any good?
So first of all, the RSA conference is the big stage where you can reach a lot of people with what you say, and I think they're right to just lay it out like that. This problem is not going away, and if there's a potential to inspire people there to be part of the mission, resisting criminal and nation state attempts to knock us down, which is our mission, then that's a good thing. But yes, the drumbeat of watch out for these three ransomware gangs isn't really that helpful. Rob Joyce was there, and I thought he made a great quote about China being our longest term threat. He said, and I love this analogy: Russia is a hurricane, but China is climate change. Low, slow, and methodical about reaching an outcome. And about that, he is completely right. So I appreciate observations like that.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, and I know you especially love climate analogies.
Yeah.
What do you think China really does with all the data they've collected, and stolen and taken from Americans? The Office of Personnel Management, Equifax, the ones that never showed up online as records for sale, where you'd expect them to, right? Like, somebody's going to make money on this. That's not what's happened. What are they actually doing?
Well, so we don't know. Only they know. But all this computing power that they have available to throw at managing their own population through pervasive facial recognition, monitoring buying habits, monitoring movements. The creation of a social score so that if you're a good citizen, you get access to travel and restaurants. They're doing that analysis on us. That's what I think. And I've read some things that don't confirm this, but suggest the same thing. And they
Yeah.
can do this. They have the data and they have the computing power. And just for a current event, it was just reported that China has breached major telecommunication companies. So the data collection continues, and now it's, you know, who's associated with who for sure.
Yeah, well, that's not disturbing at all. I mean, thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
And I read about one of the telecom companies. They were hacked by exploiting common vulnerabilities. Nothing really special or exotic about that.
yeah,
I mean, it's not good, but you know, it's not like a giant feat of engineering.
yeah.
One article from today's blast said the same thing, that the advanced threat groups rely on the fact that people just aren't patching their stuff and common vulnerabilities are everywhere.
Mhm.
I mean, do you think that we'll ever get to a place where every piece of software, self updates so that we can just take humans out of this loop?
I think for some things, but not others, human oversight is required to make sure that the firmware upgrade that you apply to an HP server doesn't knock it over,
Hmm.
or worse, that the MRI machine stops functioning. But for stuff like IoT, yes, and that's coming from federal directives, right? They want this gold star. This thing is secure out of the box. It's got a plan to keep it secure, and looping back on RSA, that's another pronouncement that caught my attention. Supply chain attacks will increase. And it's a weird pivot to supply chain, but it's kind of works.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
just too good a value proposition for the threat groups. You compromise a single piece of software and you're able to get to every customer of that software. So all this is going to get bumpier before it gets better, and these federal directives take off and the private sector gets involved in ensuring that the products we buy are secure. That's going to be a while, so it's going to be bumpy.
Yeah, and what makes it better?
More people, like the way that we work with universities in the Pisces project.
Hmm.
Free monitoring for cities and counties using data collected as real-time curriculum for analyst training. And just since we're there, a quick update. There was a meeting of what are called the Centers of Academic Excellence,
Hmm.
CAEs. Okay, this is a
Hmm.
whole lot of schools that have this designation in cyber training, and there was a lot of recognition of the Pisces project by schools around the country. So we're known. Maryland has received state funding to support a statewide rollout. New Mexico has formed a group and assigned a lead. Georgia is putting together a list of schools. Colorado is going to be expanding into more schools than the three that are teaching the curriculum now. And just let me say, since the word patriot is thrown around a lot lately, let me just say that helping to build the workforce that we need to fend off these threats to the country is a whole lot more patriotic than a lot of other things I see held up as patriotism.
Hmm. Um, Very subtle, Mike.
Hmm.
Hmm. I know you want to talk about Russia before we get to the threats and vulnerabilities. What's the latest on Russia? I mean, yes, as you mentioned before, right? Uh, you know, Russia's the hurricane, so we need to pay attention to that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the cybering continues. The volunteers are still going after him, and Russia is becoming more irritated and rattling that cyber saber. All right, don't ever tell anyone I said that. So first of all, there's been another hacked broadcast.
I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, I know. Me neither. While Russia is in the process of converting all the land they've taken by force to Russian media and Russian mayors and things like that, an FM radio station was taken over to play Ukrainian patriotic music and anti-war songs, notably by a parody band whose name converts in English to leg cramp, which I just thought was funny as hell.
the
Yeah,
the Weird Al Yankovic of
yeah.
what is it?
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I got a story about Weird Al. I'll tell you later.
I got a story about Weird Al too. It's a USC story about Weird Al.
Oh, mine's a
So
San
there.
Luis Obispo story about Weird Al.
He's a weird dude. No,
Mm,
he's not. Um, by the way, the scariest thing there is when you talked about saber rattling.
hmm
I think I've shown this in one of our videos before. I actually keep a sword, a replica sword, right next to my desk in case anybody ever mentions saber rattling. And I just went to
Rattling.
grab it and it's not there, which makes me worry that one of my kids took it to school or something.
Mm.
It's not sharp. It's just a big piece of steel. So I don't actually think it's steel. I think I paid too much
I don't
for it in
think
a
you want to
foreign
show up at
country.
a school with something like that these days. Just
No, and it's
saying.
unlikely they took it to school. I'm going to take that back. But one of my kids did something with it, and now I'm worried. Okay. Other acts by anonymous in Ukraine IT army, Belarusian cyber patriots, hackers without borders, you know, that's causing Russia some pain.
It
No.
is. Well, it's causing pain to the extent that they have come out and said the West, us, risks a direct military clash over these cyber attacks, and specifically says that their critical infrastructure is being hit.
Hmm.
Now, I don't think that's the DoD doing that. That's not really within our own doctrine of how we would use these tools.
Hmm.
Remember, any action like that officially requires a lot of approvals and authorization. I think it's still the volunteers that are making the big news here. And again, this is going to come home at some point. Hacking for a cause is a thing, and there are plenty of domestic causes. So I will refrain from providing examples, but yeah, there's a lot of causes.
All right. Well, we're almost done here. We better get to threats and vulnerabilities. What do you got?
Okay. There's a Linux backdoor that's never been seen before and very concerning because it doesn't operate like other malware. It's a shared object library that's loaded into all running processes and parasitically infects the machine. It basically turns every process running into malware. So read up on that one. Use a search engine to look for LD underscore preload. You'll find it, or read the article on Ars Technica. Android needs a patch again. 41 vulnerabilities are being fixed, including remote code execution problems. ESXi servers are under active exploit to go after virtual machines. There's still an active attack going on for Atlassian Confluence servers, and there are now public exploits for this, so hurry up. If you have on-prem Confluence.
Hmm. Hmm.
Banking Trojans have gone all in on mobile computing. So you're much more likely to have a mobile problem that steals your money than a desktop problem.
Hmm.
And there are medical devices by a company, Illumina, that need to be patched immediately. 3 of these have a severity score of 10, and patient outcomes are being threatened here.
Mm. All right. Well, that doesn't make me happy.
No.
Speaking of making me happy, I just got a text from UPS that says my package, spelled incorrectly, is about to be delivered. Please click this link. I'm not going to click that link, but it does remind me that there's security awareness training at noon today, and it's going to be a great one because
Because I
Mike's
won't
not going
be
to be
there.
there.
That's
Elite's
right.
going to run it, and it's going to be really good. Go to our website, criticalinsight.com. Click on events, click on the training, and come. It'll be much better without Mike. And by the way, Mike always ends with a kicker, something to make you laugh at the end of this. Mike, what do you got?
Well, I don't know how funny it is if you're a Tesla owner.
I'm
But
not. So what do you got?
so turns out Tesla keys can be hacked really easily. A researcher, so there's this NFC, right, near field communications card that you put on and that's how you identify yourself to the car and you can start the car, right? So that is the standard way of starting a vehicle. Well, this researcher was able to unlock a car with an NFC card and discovered that there is a 130-second window that allows the car to accept new keys, which means if you have proximity, as soon as someone starts the Tesla, you can set your own key for the vehicle, and there's no authentication required, no notice is given to the operator, and any nearby Bluetooth device will do this. So, all those smug Tesla users, this is for you.
So you don't have to deal with the astronomical gas prices. You just have to deal with this.
That's right.
You know what? That seems well, strangely reasonable to me.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. Mike, welcome back. We look
Thank
forward to
you.
having you in full swing next week.
Okay.
For everybody else, we'll see you next. We'll probably do this next Thursday,
Yep.
and we'll tell Mike to get a less squeaky chair. Yep,
Okay.
that one. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.